Hello friends, welcome to my video. In this video I will show you how we can create a simple app which can track the location of your phone uh, in the Google Maps. It's very simple and that app also works offline. So if you don't want to use so many apps available in the market which you doubt for your privacy and all those things, you can create your own a small app in few steps which I'll show you right now. And we can and then you can have use it for your own purpose. You can track it, you can log the data as per your wish. So let's start. So we will give this name as my location, and my location I'll change it to my location. Although these things doesn't matter, you can name anything as per your wish, so I just name it like this. API. So for this you can use any of the API version. So I still use one of the old Android phones, so for that usually I go for the older versions of API 18 or 19, but for this I will use the 26. It doesn't matter, it is not using any of the latest APIs of the SDK. Yeah, this screen is important. Over here you should choose this Google Maps activity so that your Google Maps will automatically come into your uh, Android Studio. The app, the source code, which the template which gets created will be for the maps. So, and also this step may take a little longer for the first time. So be careful, and you probably will need internet connection to download the latest widgets from the Android. Yeah. So once your app gets created in Android Studio, you'll get this page, and over here please see carefully. In the first step itself, it says that before we proceed for this for to use this Google Maps, we need a Google Maps API key, and the steps itself will be given over here, and it's very simple. So what we have to do is we have to go to get one, follow this link, follow the direction and press create at the end. So we have to go to this link which I have already opened in my Google Chrome. You can use I'm not sure if it works in Internet Explorer, but I use Google Chrome. So once you open this link, you should get this page. Over here it will come to create project, and then you have to select few options. Please email me update regarding features, announcements, performance, suggestions, feedback, survey, and special offers. You may choose no over here, doesn't matter. I will choose yes because I would like to have some informations from Google's to be sent to me. I agree that my use of service APIs is subject to my compliance. I will again click yes. Of course you have to agree to the terms and condition of Google. Probably you can read this, and it will mostly be for commercial use and all those things. So I agree and continue. It will take some time for preparing your project. So if you note over here, it's doing something. It's taking time to create your project. So you will have to wait for that time. So once this project is created, it will enable APIs, and in the next page if you see the API is enabled. So now you have to create API key. You just click on this button, and I guess you should get your API key over here. So just copy this API key using this copy button, minimize this, go back to your code, and in the end over here your key here. So just enter your key here and save this. So more or less your XML file is ready to be used. You don't have to do anything. You can delete this part, but for the time I'll just switch to the Java code. In the Java, if you notice, by default you'll get this onCreate and onMapReady methods. So before I proceed, I will also like to start my emulator in parallel so that we can see what is happening, whether our map is working or not. And please note, you may have to use this some better emulators. You may not use the old emulators because some of the APIs may not work with the old emulators. But anyway, for me this Nexus 5X API 27 works perfectly fine, so I use this one. In the meantime, when it's starting, I'll probably just minimize this like this. It says some error that we'll see later on why it's giving this kind of error. So once your Gradle build is finished, your app should come up, and it should automatically create this map, Google Map, and point the markers to some place. I'll explain you why it is marking over there in Australia, although I'm not in Australia by the way, so but it's marking there. And how you can verify that it's your app, because if you just short it down, it's map, so it's your map definitely, yeah. Okay, and why this marker is at Australia? The reason being, if you see the Java code carefully in this onMapReady method over here, so by default, the Google Maps, this code, what it is doing is taking the latitude of Sydney, which is -34 latitude, and longitude is 151 degree, and it's marking this Sydney in the position Sydney of this marker. So this is adding the marker in the map, which this is creating the Google Map, and then it's shifting the camera of the. When you say camera, it's not your mobile phone camera, but it's the map camera. So say for example, if you move it here, so right now this camera is on this India and China. If you move it further here, it's on Saudi Arabia, and if you move it here, it's on Europe. Yeah. So this is what it means by move camera of the map. It's map camera. So by default it gives you the location of Sydney. So now over here is what we will use our code, our purpose to be done for tracking. So let's start. So before we do our code, we will need the permissions of GPS and network. So how the location works on your mobile phone, I'm not sure if you I would like to describe in very short here. So the location is taken from two sensors. One is from GPS and second is from your network. So network also provides the location for your mobile phone. So we will have to provide the permission to access both the component of the phone through your app. By default, all the apps will not have access to your GPS or your network data and all those things. So that we will have to explicitly provide it. So that we can do is by going to this manifest XML file, and this in manifest XML file in the top you can see already since we have created this map template, so this permission of find location is already there. So this will automatically take care of the GPS location, but if this line is not there, please add this line. This is very important line in your Android manifest.xml file. And after this, if you want, you can also use the other location, which is course one. I think you can use this one, access course location. So the find and course together, both of them will give use the GPS and network to give you the very exact location where you are at that point of time. Apart from this, as of now, I don't think we need any more permission, so we'll just close this. We don't need anything more. Yeah. So now we go back to our Java code. So before we start doing something in MapReady, let's also do one thing. Let's check whether our the permissions what we are seeking, the GPS and this network, the find and course location access, whether we have got it or not. So you can write that check permission this check permission string, and if in if else condition check it. But what I prefer is in most of my app and for these videos, for the simplicity of these videos, I just directly give those request those permissions from the user each time. So but of course you can modify it. So I will explicitly ask for the permission from the user using request permission. So first will be this activity I need, and the permission which I am looking is manifest dot permission dot, and the permission which I am looking is for find location, yes. And the other one what I am doing is I need to have the permission granted. Yeah, there is some red mark here, so let's see what it's saying. I think yeah. So it's good that Android Studio also provides you a hint and fix. So surround with array initialize. Just click on this and it will automatically take care of like this. So yeah. So we have granted a find location permission. We may have to do the same for the course one. So everything, rest all the things remain same. Instead, the only thing changes is this course location. So now we have both the permissions over here. Now we can rest assured that we have the access to the exact location of our phone in our this particular app, sample app which we are creating over here. Now to do anything we will need a location listener that which listens whenever there is a change in location. We need some kind of listener to do that. So I will create one. I will create a private uh, variable. So yeah, location listener comes. So I just create one location listener variable here, and in my onMapReady method I will keep the rest of the things as it is right now. I will not remove them, although you can remove if you don't want to clutter your map with the default marker in Sydney, this particular string. One more thing, I am not sure if I showed in this video, but this marker in Sydney text, when you click on this marker, this text will come over here. So we can also have our own custom strings to show in our marker. Okay, so we have created this location listener. We just create new location listener, and the moment you create this, the automatically you will get few methods like whenever there is a location change or a status change in different things, you can have your functionality coded here. For the time being, we'll just use this on location change. So whenever our location is changed, it should capture that in our map. But before we go there, we may have to define a location manager as well. So what is the functionality of location manager? Is that it will provide you for the request, the change in the location request. So what we do over here is probably we go here and define private location manager, and in this, and make sure that you define this location manager after this listener, because location manager will need this location listener no sorry location manager will need this location listener. So you can have in this location listener to request location updates. So they provide various kinds of location updates. So probably we will use this, of course we need to, so if you see the options what they are giving is whether provider, minimum time, maximum time, and intent. So I think we will go with this first option. Yes, so we will need a provider. So provider for our case will be GPS. We can set some minimum time and then this maximum time, minimum time and minimum distance. Sorry, so it means like what is a minimum time, the refresh rate, basically nothing more, and location listener which we have already defined above. So we'll use this one. I think it works. Yes. And then what we have to define for the first is the provider. So that is our GPS. So location manager.gps. Yeah, this is our provider. And now we can define our this was our time. So let's first quickly define two variables, which is the private probably final, we don't want to change it, and long and minimum time, and this we will keep, say for example this will be in milliseconds is what I know, what I think. So let's define 1000 milliseconds as each 1 second. 1 second. And then also let's define our private final minimum distance. So minimum distance, and this will be, I'm not sure, I think it's in meters. So you can check the notes on this on the Google, on the Android developer page, but I think it's in meters. So I define it in 5 meters for the time being. Okay, now we can use these variables in our method here. So first was I think time, so minimum time, and the second was the distance, minimum distance. Yes. And now we have to define our listener. So we can have our location listener here. So this method is ready, but there is some issues here. So let's see what's call requires permission which may be rejected by user Okay, so it's basically a kind of like security check which we should do, that whether we have that permission or not. So either you can encapsulate it using this using this check permission, or I will prefer to put it into try catch with security check. That's the other option. So I will just quickly put try, and then control X, control V, and then catch. And you have to take the security exceptions here, because since you are asking for the location, is probably a bit secure option for the user. Yes. So once you have defined this, no rest of the part remains pretty much same. So whenever there will be some kind of location update, this location manager will update this location listener, which will come here, and whenever there is a location change, now we have to do something. So for that, probably what we can do is simply we can use this part of the code again. So instead of latitude and longitude of Sydney, we can have our own latitude longitude. Again, let's define one more variable on the top. Again, I prefer to define everything private because I don't want to be access of these variables outside of my class. So I will define this private lat long, and I just keep latitude and longitude. So, and now if I come here back, so what I can do is I can just copy it. No, I don't need okay, so let me first copy paste all the 3 lines, and of course we will modify it in our this string in this part of the method. So we don't need Sydney, we just need our latitude longitude, new latitude longitude, and we will have to of course modify this because we don't want Sydney to be marked, we want our location to be marked. So how we can get is, over here it already passes this location variable, so we can use just location get latitude. Latitude will be the first one, please be careful, otherwise your code map will go somewhere else. Longitude, yeah. So once we have our latitude and longitude, we can use this particular variable for our marker position, that we mark it in our position, and marker in Sydney. No, I will say my position, yes. And yeah, and camera location should also change to my latitude and longitude and not to Sydney. I think that's all, nothing more. This should work fine, but still I can see there is red mark over on the top, so I'm not sure from which part is coming. So but let's compile and see if it works or not. Yeah, okay, so that red mark went off. I was just scared. My location has stopped. Okay, so let's see what's going wrong in our so I just clicked here and came. Okay, let me allow, and after this probably I may have to rerun my app again. Okay, so I think it has stopped just because it was asking for permissions. My location has stopped again. Let me click here, and what's this asking? Oh, let me do one thing then. Let me try putting it into try catch and see if it helps, because it's always better to encapsulate the exception part as much as possible. This part of the code may be prone to errors. Okay, and then I will put a catch security exception e. Okay, e dot structures, and now if I run it again, before I do it, let me just do one more thing. Let me see if there is nothing. Okay, it's no listed items. Okay, now if you click OK, keeps stopping. So we are still getting this my location stop again and again. So we are doing something wrong in our code. That of course that's obvious. So let me see what is going wrong here. Okay, so what I think the thing which we are doing wrong is we are not explicitly asking location manager the service of location here. So before calling this request location update, we should make sure that location manager has the access to that service from our operating system Android phone. So for that, what we can do is we can just quickly make sure that our location manager has the access to that system service from our Android OS. We can just ask location manager and get system service, and what we need is location service. Yeah, so I think no, it should be fine. No, if we rerun this app, I'm pretty sure it should work. Perfect. See, so if you see on the right hand side it's working, just take a note over here that if you are doing it for the first time, it may ask you to update the Play Store Google Play services. So if you have not done that, it may ask you to do that, and it will give you an update button. You have to just click and then log in using your Gmail account, and then it will be perfectly fine. So that I already did long back, so it is not asking me again, but please take a note of that. Okay, so now if you see our app is working perfectly fine. It's able to give me a location, a marker. If you click on this marker, it says my position, the very string which we have put it over here. And if you see, we are not removing the old markers. So if we go back to Australia, it will still show that marker which says marker in Sydney. We can probably zoom out. I'm not sure how we can do it in okay, I think okay, I was not sure how to zoom out in this emulator, because on phone it's pretty simple. So if you see, we have both the markers right now available on our map, and also if you just zoom in, and of course I'm not in US, by the way, so I'm not in US, so it's showing the location of, I think it shows the default location of Mountain View, which is where this Google office is there. So it goes by default to the Google's office because this GPS doesn't work in the emulator. So once you build this app and put it in your mobile phone, Android phone, it works perfectly fine. I'll show that in my next video, the link for which is on above. So please do watch my video, next video, where I'll show you in my phone how it works perfectly fine. And yeah, that's all. So if you have your phone and if you move, it will track all the places where you have gone. It will put a marker, and so that probably in a day or two you can just have a look. Oh, these are places you went off, and you will have the markers at all those places. Before I end this video, I'll just quickly show you that how we can build this app to be downloaded in your phone, so that you can do in the meantime before you watch my next video. So you can just click on this build APK, and it will take some few seconds, and then once it creates, it will pop up some message over here. Yeah, so it's created successfully. You just click on this locate button, you'll get this APK file. Just transfer it to your mobile phone. You can use your data cable, or you can use some Bluetooth, or even I use WhatsApp sometimes to transfer from my this phone, I mean this laptop, to my phone. So you can use, so once you transfer that, just double click and install it, keep it ready, so that we can see it in our next video, how we can track it in our phone. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please do put in the comment section. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.